Most people get happiness completely wrong. They chase after it like it's some kind of trophy they can win. But here's what psychology research actually shows. The harder you chase happiness, the more miserable you become. I discovered this the hard way. After spending years pursuing what I thought would make me happy, the perfect job, relationship, lifestyle, I kept hitting a wall. And then I stumbled across this game-changing concept from psychology that completely transformed how I think about happiness and suffering. It's called antifragility, and it's about to change everything you thought you knew about happiness. Before we dive in, quick question. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to get stronger when life gets tough, while others just break? There's actually a fascinating psychological reason for this, and it's not what most people think. Let me introduce you to Sarah. She was my client last year, successful lawyer, perfect life on paper. But one day she told me something that stuck with me. I did everything right, she said. I got the degree, the job, the house. I followed all the rules for being happy. So why do I feel so empty? Sarah's story isn't unique. In fact, research shows that rates of depression and anxiety are highest in countries that place the most emphasis on pursuing happiness. Weird, right? But here's where it gets interesting. Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar, one of Harvard's most popular professors, points out something crucial. We've been thinking about happiness all wrong. We treat it like it's fragile, something we need to protect and maintain. But what if instead of trying to be happy all the time, we aim to become anti-fragile? Now you might be wondering, what exactly is anti-fragility? It's different from being resilient or robust. Think about it this way. If you drop a coffee mug, best case scenario is it survives. That's resilience. But imagine if dropping the mug actually made it stronger. That's anti-fragility. Our minds can work the same way. When we become anti-fragile, challenges don't just bounce off us, they make us stronger. Every setback, every failure, every moment of stress becomes fuel for growth. Let's break this down with some real psychology. Studies show that people who embrace stress and see it as enhancing actually perform better and live healthier lives than those who try to avoid it. It's not about being tough or pushing through pain. It's about fundamentally changing your relationship with difficulty. Here are 3 key principles of psychological anti-fragility that most people miss. 1. Stop avoiding negative emotions. Remember Sarah? Her biggest breakthrough came when she stopped trying to be happy all the time. Research shows that accepting negative emotions actually leads to better psychological health than trying to suppress them. When you allow yourself to feel sad, angry, or frustrated, something interesting happens. These emotions lose their power over you. 2. Seek out controlled stress. Your mind is like a muscle. If you never challenge it, it gets weak. If you overwhelm it, it breaks. But if you stress it just right through learning new skills, facing fears, or taking calculated risks, it grows stronger. This is why exposure therapy is one of the most effective treatments for anxiety. 3. Change your relationship with failure. Here's a mind-blowing fact. Studies show that people who view failures as learning opportunities have significantly higher levels of innovation and success. When you see failure as feedback rather than a dead end, you become impossible to defeat. Let me share something personal. 5 years ago, I hit rock bottom. Lost my job, relationship ended, health issues, the works. Traditional happiness advice told me to stay positive and focus on the good. But that just made me feel worse. It wasn't until I embraced the concept of anti-fragility that things changed. Instead of trying to avoid pain, I started asking myself, how can this make me stronger? Every rejection became a lesson in resilience. Every setback became an opportunity to reassess and grow. And something fascinating happened. I didn't just recover, I evolved. The science backs this up. Research from the field of post-traumatic growth shows that people who go through difficult experiences often end up stronger, more compassionate, and more purposeful than before. But here's the key. It's not the trauma that causes the growth. It's how you respond to it. Think about times in your own life when you've grown the most. I bet it wasn't when everything was perfect. Growth comes from challenge, from pushing beyond our comfort zones, from facing what scares us. So here's what this means for you. Next time you face a challenge, instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can this strengthen me? When you feel stressed, remind yourself that stress is normal. It's not a sign something's wrong. It's an opportunity for growth. Stop chasing happiness as a destination. Focus instead on building an anti-fragile mindset that turns life's challenges into fuel for growth. The truth is, life will never be perfect. You'll face setbacks, losses, and failures. But by embracing antifragility, you don't just survive these challenges. You use them to become stronger, wiser, and yes, ultimately happier. Remember Sarah? Once she stopped chasing happiness and started building antifragility, everything changed. She still faces challenges, but now they energize her rather than drain her. She's not just resilient, she's anti-fragile. The next time life throws something difficult your way, remember, you don't have to just endure it. You can use it. Let it strengthen you. Let it build your anti-fragility. What's the biggest challenge you're facing right now? Share it below, and let's discuss how to turn it into fuel for growth.